Good Sunday morning, class. Hope you're all doing great. Hope you're enjoying your weekend. The weather is starting to starting to feel more like fall. So hopefully you're enjoying some cooler temperatures and this weekend. It's a great weekend for Oklahoma sports. Hopefully, if you're not aware, Oklahoma State won on Friday night, I believe, in Mobile against South Alabama. Awesome, 2-0. And if you're not aware, my alma mater, the University of Oklahoma, where I also go to school currently, won a big game on the road at Ohio State. So I'm pretty ecstatic still about this weekend. Big weekend for Oklahoma sports. Even though I am a student, at OU, I'm an alumni of OU. I teach at Oklahoma State, the community college. I'm really happy to see when both teams are doing well. I think that's really cool for the state. Even if you like one team and don't like the other, I think it's great when both are doing well. And I would love to see both teams play undefeated this year. So, anyways, hope you're enjoying your weekend. I'm really excited for this weekend. And pro football starts today. I'm excited for that. I got my fantasy team going. So, anyways, hope you're having a wonderful weekend. Wanted to talk about a few things this week for this week's video. First of all, last week's discussions, I posted the grades for those yesterday, and they were awesome. I really enjoyed this week's discussions. I thought that you guys were very engaged with the content of this week's discussion, the topic. I learned a lot from your responses. I learned more details about the laws of texting and driving. I learned more about the dangers. I also learned that, again, I'm not the only one, who does this, obviously, and it's something I'm trying to change, and it kind of sounds like a lot of you are trying to change as well, because I think we're all aware of what it does to our attention when we're playing on our phone rather than driving. So very good discussion this week. Really awesome. The resources you all shared and the depth of your discussion. It just felt like a conversation, really a good conversation. So good news is, though, this week there is no discussion post. For week 4, we don't have a discussion post. And the reason for that is, of course, we have our first exam, which I'll talk about here in a moment. So no discussion post. Don't worry about making a post and responding to peers this week, because you won't have to worry about that. This week, though, I would like you to read chapter 4. This is the chapter on consciousness, probably one of my more favorite chapters of this course. Just really interesting topics, kind of a broad array of topics here. So from chapter 4, you should be able to define what consciousness is, the sense of awareness, explain the nature of sleep and various sleep disorders. So we're going to be focusing on sleep. Unfortunately, you'll probably learn about how much sleep you're not getting after reading this section. We human beings, we need more sleep than we typically get. You'll be looking at sleep disorders. This is our first trip into the DSM, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual for Mental Illness. Afterwards, you'll be able to explain the nature and use of hypnosis, meditation, and biofeedback in altering consciousness. Meditation is specifically a practice that I am both intellectually and personally interested in. I've done some academic research on the topic of mindfulness meditation, and I have my own personal practice that I do daily. So afterwards, we'll switch gears and talk about substance use disorders, looking at both legal and illegal substances. So you'll be looking at the dangers of depressants, stimulants, and hallucinogens, sort of our, broadly speaking, 3 categories of psychoactive substances. And these are substances, again, that are both legal and illegal. So about half of the chapter will focus on how consciousness is altered by some of these substances. So again, hopefully, not a very lengthy chapter, but I think it's a really, really interesting chapter. A lot to cover in this one. So read chapter 4. And afterwards, you'll need to take your exam. The exam 1 will cover chapters 1 through 4, and there are 50 multiple choice questions. And the majority of those questions are application, meaning you will need to apply a term and definition from that chapter into a real world setting. So you'll be given some kind of scenario involving a person, and you'll be asked, say, based on this scenario, which term or definition sort of best fits this scenario. And I tried to pick some of the bigger topics and ideas from each chapter. I didn't, pick some obscure term and definition that's mentioned like one time and, try to throw that in there to confuse you. I try to stick with the bigger topics from each chapter. So 50 questions between 4 chapters. It's about 12 to 13 questions per chapter. So, and again, I try to hit on the biggest topics of each one. That exam is currently open. It opened at midnight today, and it'll stay open until the 18th at 11:59 p.m. So you have more than a week to take this exam. You have more than a week. There is no time limit on the exam. You don't need the lockdown browser or anything like that, but you do need to be able to take it on D2L. You just go to quizzes, click on it. You have one opportunity to take the quiz, but again, there's no time limit, so don't feel like you've got to just like rush and get it all done in an hour. But this is how our exams will be for the rest of the course. We'll have 4 of them. This is the first. My recommendation to you is go ahead and jump on chapter 4 and read that sooner rather than later, and then give yourself a few days to be able to review your notes and things from chapters 1 through, the previous chapters 1 through 3. And also give yourself enough time that if you have questions, you can email me or maybe even ask your classmates on our discussion post. But feel free to, shoot me an email if you have any questions. I try to respond within 24 hours at the latest. So if you have any questions at all, feel free to email me about the exam. If you're studying, going over your notes again, and you're confused about a topic or a concept or a definition, feel free to email me. But other than that, again, read chapter 4 and take exam 1 by the 18th, and that's really it for this week. But again, please let me know if you have any questions before you take the exam. I don't want you to go into the exam feeling unprepared and with questions that are left unanswered. So feel free. That's what I'm here for, is to help you guys. And I know you're going to do great. Based on your discussion posts, it feels like you guys are really understanding a lot of the material we've covered so far. And so I'm looking forward to seeing your exam results, because I know they're going to be really good. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and let you all go. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I know I'm going to do the same. But otherwise, I will see you all next week, and best of luck on exam 1. All right, take care, guys.